So we're looking at how to handle objections like a rock star. And if you have an organization with a sales team, a technical team, with everything in place, and nobody sells anything, guess what? No money comes into the organization, nobody is paid, nothing happens. You see, when you see somebody who says, I don't like to sell, show me somebody who says, I don't like to sell, and I will show you a poor man. Show me someone who says, I don't like selling, and I will show you a poor man. If you see all the wealthy people in the world, all of them, as in 100% of them, they all sell. Microsoft sells, Apple sells, Facebook sells, they all sell. Because the money that they need is not in their pocket. The money they need is in the pocket of other people. And unless they sell, they can't make money. They can't live the good life. They cannot give their family the good life. So nothing happens until a sale is made. So if you don't know how to sell, start learning how to sell today. Start learning. Watch trainings, watch videos, practice out. And in the course of selling, something is going to happen. You are going to meet people who are going to object. They're going to object to your selling. They're going to raise concerns. Let's call them concerns. You must be able to handle those concerns. If you can handle the concerns of people, guess what? You can sell to them. And the more you sell, the more money you can make. So today I'll be showing you how you can handle objections like a rock star. And these are objections that people, bring up in the course of doing business every day. People bring up these objections, but you must be able to handle them. You see, I use the word handle, not overcoming. There's some people that tell you they're going to show you how to overcome objections. No, you don't overcome objections. You handle them. You handle them. And that is what makes you a consultant. Now, let us examine the concept of the consultant for once. A consultant is somebody who helps you figure out a solution to a problem you have. His job is to help you figure out the solution, offer you the solution. And in most cases, you pay him to help you figure out the solution. And if he figures out the solution for you, it is left to you to implement the solution. If you say you're not going to implement the solution offered to you by the consultant, your problem does not become the consultant's problem. Your problem still remains your problem. The consultant is going to go home, relax with a big bowl of pepper soup, have a very nice time, but you are still the one with your problem. So you see, our job is to function as consultants. We are cash flow consultants. We are, consultants of the good life. We help people to be able to access the good life. And believe it or not everybody is interested in the good life. Everybody loves the concept of wanting the good life, but not everybody is interested in the concept of the good life. So when you present to them what they need to do to get the good life, a lot of people will back out, they shy away, they don't want to go further because they know they are not worthy of the good life. For you to be able to do your business, create results in your business, have people join your business, you must tackle objections as they come. You can't just shy away from them. You want to run a presentation, the moment you are done with the presentation, everybody is paying? No, that is not how life works. People will bring up reasons why they cannot join the business, why they cannot start the business now, and it is your job as a consultant to nudge them strongly. Nudge them strongly. I use the word nudge strongly. Now, nudge is supposed to be something soft. you know, but I fall short of using the word push. Sometimes I use the word push. You nudge them strongly towards taking a stand. Towards taking a stand. And the stand is to be or not to be. Nudge them. Don't leave people standing on the fence. Don't leave them hanging there. That's what most people do. For most people, all we do is we just inform our prospects of what we have. And we leave them standing on the wall. And they are there on the wall. You didn't nudge them on your side. Guess what? Some other person will see them on that wall and pull them to their own side. You want to be able to extract commitments from your prospects. Now, that they have made the commitment does not mean they will see the commitment through. Many people will tell you they're going to join your business, they're going to give their commitment, they're going to give their word, but they will still not follow through. But at least do your part and nudge them in the right direction, right? Extract commitments from them. Listen to what I'm going to show you now. You will be paid in direct proportion in this business to your ability to force out decisions from your prospects. What did I say? You will be paid in direct proportion to your ability to force out decisions from your prospects. I want that to sink into you very, very well, right? People who don't recruit because they are waiting for prospects to fall on their laps. You're waiting for people to just say, you know what, I want to join. That is what you're waiting for. And this is how mediocres do their business. They show the business and they wait for the people to tell them, I'm going to sign up. Not you. You should be a professional. They don't push to force out decisions from their prospects. They only inform their prospect of their opportunity and expect the prospect to like the opportunity and join. That is what many people do. And that is why many people don't create functional results for themselves in this business. Because what you're doing is that you're waiting for your prospect to say, you know what, I like that thing, I want to join. People are indecisive. It's as simple as that. Nudge them hard and they will take a stand. Nudge them hard and they will do what? They will take a stand. They will take a stand. If you don't nudge them, they won't take a stand, right? Your money is in their pockets. Don't be too casual in asking for it. That's what I'll tell you. So you have your money in the pocket of prospects. And instead of nudging them hard to bring out the money, you are there taking it so easy, taking it so casual with them. Remember, casualness leads towards casualty, right? So this line, I would really want you to screenshot this, because if you look at this and decide you are no longer going to be casual, remember, you will be paid in direct proportion to your ability to force out decisions from your prospects. And what we're going to do today is to show you how you can begin to force out decisions from your prospects. So let's examine some steps on handling objections, some preambles, some things you need to know about handling objections before you now go in to start handling the objections on your own, right? Now, one of the things is this: make sure the prospect you understand his objection by rephrasing the objection back to him in a question, right? Very, very important. You want to rephrase the objection. So if the person tells you, I don't have time, I don't have time, you want to rephrase it back to him in a question. You want to say something like this: Mr. Prospect, what you are telling me right now is that you don't have the time to use this business as a channel to attain your dream life. Is that correct? It's a question I asked him. Mr. Prospect, he tells me I don't have time, right? And I say, Mr. Prospect, what you are telling me now is that you don't have the time to use this business as a vehicle towards attaining the dream life. Is that correct? Right? So if the prospect brings up an objection, rephrase that objection back to him in a question. Because he needs to know that you understand his problem. I don't have money. Mr. Prospect, what you are telling me now, I need to understand you clearly, right? Is this, that you don't have the money to chase your dreams through this business. Is that correct? You might also ask him, Mr. Prospect, when you say you don't have the money for this business, to chase your dreams through this business, how do you mean? How do you mean? Remember what Eric Worre said, all business is conversation. All business is conversation. Your job is to initiate the conversation and keep the conversation going, right? So you have to find ways of rephrasing the objections back to the prospect in a question. Also, you want to ask yourself this: is this objection real? Is it real? The answer is no. Always ask yourself, what are they really saying? When you understand what they're really saying, it will help you to be able to address the objection. Never be confrontational in any form, right? So you need to understand this. Is the objection real? As a consultant, that's the first thing to determine. If you determine the objection as not being real, then you can nudge him to see it as not being real. Relate to his objections. Tell stories as concerns the objection. Now, this is where you're now beginning to handle the objection. Tell stories as concerns the objections and ask great questions. Let your stories help them without embarrassing them. Imagine he says, I don't have the money to start the business. You tell him a story. Mr. Prospect, you say you don't have the money to start the business, right? Now, you can tell him, okay, can I share a story with you? If you have your own story, you can share your own story. But if you don't have your story, you can share the story of other people. Can I share a story with you? There's this lady in our team somewhere in Enugu. She saw a presentation like this, and she had no money to join the business. She had only 1,000 naira in her bank account. Do you know what she did? She downloaded a recharge card of 1,000 naira. She wrote down 30 names of people, and she started calling the 30 of them right there in the hall to give her 2,000 naira. And she kept on doing that. Before she was done, she had made 66,000 naira from people. Some gave her 1, 2, 3 different amounts, but she made 66,000 naira. She removed 49,990 and got started in the business, and then deposited the rest as part payment. Today, that lady makes over 300,000 naira in monthly income. So you can see that it is not about the resources, but about how resourceful one can be, right? So you see, that is a story I just told. You can look for stories and rephrase stories around, the objections, the popular objections, some of which are going to see here today, right? So I'm going to address all the popular objections, but you want to create stories around them. Now, even if you don't have stories or you don't know a story, you can tell the prospect, can we examine this scenario? Let us examine this scenario. Now, when you say, let us examine this scenario, it gives you the capacity, gives you the right to create a story, that will help the prospect see a pathway towards handling his problem. And you won't be lying. And of course, you didn't tell somebody's story. You only made up a story. So you see, let us examine this scenario, right? You say you don't have one. Let us examine this scenario. What if you are able to get the contact of 3 apps? These apps that lend money to people. What if you're able to get the contact of 3 apps? Or let's examine somebody, let's call this guy John, right? John doesn't have the money to join the business. And John said, you know what? I want to join this business because I really believe this business can change my life, right? So what John decides to do now is this. He said, I am going to go to 3 apps and I'm going to collect 20,000 naira from each of the 3 apps. 20, 20, 20, making it 60,000 naira. I'm going to negotiate for probably a 3-month payment plan on each of those apps. And with the 60,000 naira, I'm going to take 50,000 naira to start this business. And I'm going to take 10,000 naira to load my phone and run my business very hard. And the first 20,000 naira I get from the business, I pay off one of the apps. The second one, I pay the second app. The third one, I pay the third app. And I'm going to do my best over the next 30 days to raise 60,000 naira to settle these apps so that I don't get embarrassed. Mr. Prospect, would you consider this gentleman to be smart and forward-thinking? You see, I only told him a story. I created a story. I used a mythical guy, probably John, right? And I created a story around John. And as I was selling the story to him, I was telling him the story of John. I was selling the possibility of him doing the same thing to John. So you have to learn to tell stories. Become a great storyteller in the business. That is how you handle objections. Right? And also remember, ask great questions. Use the feel, felt, found mode of Eric Warren. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. But let me tell you what I found out. John, I know how you feel when you say you don't have money. I felt the same way because when I started this business, I had no money. I was owing over 4 million naira in debt. Well, let me tell you what I found. I found out that if I don't do something about my cashlessness, if I don't do something to create cash flow for myself, I will continue to be in debt. I will continue to be embarrassed. I will continue to have money problems. I will still not be able to take care of my family and take care of myself, and I will still be under a lot of pressure. Guy, do you know what I did? I decided to take the bull by the horn. I looked for an app. I was able to borrow 50,000 naira from that app and got started. I was able to call 5 of my friends, and I got 5 of my friends to each give me 10,000 naira, right? I was going to pay them 15,000 naira, and I got started, right? I went to my parents. I told them, can I get a loan of 50,000 naira? I will pay 60,000 naira within the next 3 months. You know, whatever you want to use there, use it there. Create something that relates to you. If it relates to you, tell your own story. If it don't relate to you, if you don't have any story, tell somebody's story. I know how you feel, right? Now, John, I want to tell you something about my friend Tunde, right? When Tunde saw this business, guess what? He had no money to join the business. I know how Tunde felt around that time because he really wanted to do this. I could see it on his face. He had no money to do it. But you know what? Tunde decided to find a way. He found a way to raise the money. He found a way of doing multiple things, bringing money from different places, you know, all with one focus to start the business. And today, Tunde is living the good life. Use the feel, felt, found method by Eric Warren when you want to handle objections. I'm giving you different strategies that you're going to have to put together. Maintain your consultant posture. In handling objections, your posture is the most powerful tool. If the posture is not right, every other thing is not going to work, right? Now, what is your posture? Your posture is very, very simple. I am the consultant. All I'm doing is offering you gold. If you take this gold, it is going to be good for you. If you don't take it, the ball is in your court. Hey, consultant, don't be pushy. Our job in this business is to educate the ignorant. When you make a presentation, you continue educating them by handling objections professionally, right? You handle the objections professionally. Now, when I said don't be pushy, it doesn't mean you're not going to push people into making a decision, right? You want to get them to take a stand, but you're not going to be there to shove the thing down their throat. Your job is to handle their objections and call them to take action based on the objection you have handled. Right? So you can address his objection with a complex question directed at the prospect. The question must never make him look stupid, but must induce a pain or a gain to maybe make him move from his comfort zone, right? And after doing that, you have to ask if his objections are addressed. Now, at the beginning, I told you something like this. When the guy said, I don't have money, you say, Mr. Prospect, what you are trying to say right now is that you don't have the money to sign up into this business and use this business as a tool to accessing the good life that you truly deserve. Is that what you are saying? It's become a complex question, right? I rephrased it back to him. But I didn't just ask him, oh, are you trying to say you don't have money? I said, no. I said, what you are telling me when you say you don't have money is that you don't have the money to use this business as the tool to accessing the good life that you are truly worthy of. Is that what you're saying? I'm trying to induce a pain or a gain into him to move him from his comfort zone. Right? So I want us to have that down. Also ask if his objections are addressed after you've done the addressing. Right? And if yes, you invite him to give our business a try. Give it a try. We call that the invitation close. Right? Always respond in a calm and steady voice and look into the eyes of the prospect as you speak. Now, if you're that person, when you look into the eyes of the prospect, you are in control of the conversation. But you see, you can be looking into the eyes of somebody I'm talking, and the person also looking into your eyes. And at times, it might get awkward. For most people, what you want to do, instead of looking eyeball to eyeball, if you cannot handle that, just look here, his forehead. Right? Look at his forehead. As you're looking at his forehead, guess what? You are staring there, looking at the bridge between his nose and the eyes. You're looking at the nose bridge. You're not looking at his eyes, but if he's looking at you, it will be as if you are looking at his eyes. But you're not looking at his eyes, you're looking at his forehead or the bridge slightly above the nose. And guess what's going to happen? You will be in control. You will not feel awkward. You will be in control of the conversation, right? Always ask prospects to tell you their story when they have a negative objection. I can't do this business. I can't do this business. It's not my thing. Tell me your story. Can you share your network marketing story with me? Let them tell you their story. When they tell you their story, they're going to evidently tell you how you can sell them, right? Your job is to help the blind see and not to convince them by twisting their arms. Your job is to help them see. But if it has to take a miracle for you to make them see, make them see. That is your job. Not to convince them by twisting their arms. In the course of handling their objections, handle the objections and call them to make the sign up decision. You don't handle the objection and you let them walk away. Make sure you ask them after every instance of handling an objection to get started. And I'll show you how. Let them know from time to time that you are there to help them make a decision that will benefit them and not to convince them at all. So as you speak to the prospect, you want to let them know, my job here is to help you go through to make a decision that is going to benefit you and not to convince you. We're not here to convince people. We're here to answer their objections. We're here to educate people and give them the enough information they need to make that decision to join this business and access the good life, right? These are some questions you might want to be able to ask. Can I ask you a couple of questions, Philip? Whatever the person's name is, can I ask you a couple of questions, John? Note the questions. Now, you must not ask all these questions. You might pick what you want to ask, but these questions are very, very powerful questions. What is your most important selfish goal you have? What is the most important selfish goal you have right now? Asking him, what is the most important selfish goal you have? Why selfish? Because when you ask some people what their goal is, they'll tell you they want to help the poor, they want to build a town hall different from Balablu in their village, They want to do whatever they want to do. You know, they begin to go so lofty. Bring them back. You, personally, what is your most important selfish goal? You want to know that goal. Is it to send your kids to a good school? Is it to put yourself in a better house? Is it to make money and give yourself? What's your selfish goal? Ask the question. When would you like to achieve that goal? When would you like to achieve that goal? So the guy says, you know what? I want to drive a BMW X5. Question 2. When would you like to achieve that goal? Ask him the question. You're a consultant. Consultants ask questions. When you go see a doctor, the doctor does not see you, sit you down and bring out his pad and start writing 10 chloroquine, 20 fancy that, this one, that one, all over the place. No, he doesn't do that typically. They will sit you down, they will ask you questions. They examine you, they ask you questions before they come to any conclusion. So that's what the consultant does. So learn to ask questions, right? So what is your most important selfish goal? These questions come in a string. Can I ask you a couple of questions, Philip? He said yes. What is your most important selfish goal? What is the most important selfish goal you have? He says it. When would you like to achieve that goal, right? He says it. What are you willing to do to get it? What are you willing to do to get it, right? That's what are you willing to sacrifice to get that goal you are looking for, right? What are you willing to sacrifice to get it? So I'm going to sacrifice my time, my energy, my money, blah, 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 whatever they say they're going to sacrifice. Now you ask them, with what you are currently doing full-time, do you see yourself achieving all your money-dependent dreams in the next 5 years? Be a consultant. With what you're currently doing right now, doing full-time, do you see yourself achieving all your money-dependent dreams in the next 5 years? And for most people, the answer is going to be no. Right? No. If the person tells you yes, you might want to ask him, for how long have you had these dreams? And some of them might say in the last 3 years, 5 years. You look at them and you say, for the last 3 years, 5 years, you haven't been able to achieve these dreams. What makes you so confident that with what you're currently doing right now, you can achieve these dreams in the next 3 to 5 years? Be a consultant. Act like one. You must be calm. What are you willing to sacrifice for your dreams to come through? Time, money, pleasure. What are you willing to sacrifice? You want to ask him. You want that dream to come through? What are you willing to sacrifice? Nothing, something must give, right? Something must give. You must give something to get something. So what sacrifice are you willing to make in terms of time, in terms of money, in terms of pleasure? Because the fact is, if you are not attaining your dreams currently, you are not attaining your dream because you are not sacrificing for your dreams. There are people here who say you want to start making $1 million monthly from this business, and you're not making $1 million monthly from the business. You are not making $1 million monthly from the business because you are not sacrificing for $1 million monthly. You're not putting in the time. You're not putting in your money to make your money work for you. You're not putting in the effort. You're not putting in you're not sacrificing your pleasure. You want to make $1 million monthly, $2 million monthly, $500,000 monthly, yet you want to go clubbing every night. You want to still sit down and relax, watch TV, listen to music, dance around, do everything you do without sacrifice. You want your pleasure, 100%, and yet you want the dream life. You must pay now to play later. If you play now, you will pay later. So if you want those dreams to come through, you must sacrifice. I'm showing you how to be a consultant, right? So let's examine some types of objections you're going to face. I've already given you the steps, the initial processes you are going to take, right? Now I want you to see how to handle these objections. And by the way, there's something I didn't include here. The words of Matt Morris. Do you want to do this business? Always start from those lines. Do you want to do this business? Do you really want to do this business? Or is your objection a polite way of saying you are not interested? Then you handle the objection, right? So I don't have time. I don't have time. When you are faced with the objection, I don't have time, how do you handle the I don't have time objection? You may want to say something like this. Mr. Tunde, when you say you don't have time, how do you mean? When you say you don't have time, how do you mean? Just I don't have time, I'm busy, I am at work, I am this, I am that, I am that. You want to let him finish. Never speak when your prospect is speaking. When he's done speaking, what do you say next? Mr. Tunde, what you are telling me now is that you don't have the time to use this business as a tool towards attaining the dream life that you are truly worthy of. Is that what you're saying? Say, no, I'm not saying that, blah, blah, blah. It's just that I don't have the time, blah, blah, blah. What do you say next? In the words of Matt Morris, Mr. Tunde, do you want to do this business? He says, yes. Do you really want to do this business? Or is just saying, I don't have time, a polite way of saying you don't want to do the business? Because either way, we're okay with it. I don't have the time. No, it's not that. I want to do the business, but I don't have the time, blah, 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 blah. What do you do next? How would you like to never say that again? How would you like to never use time as an excuse again? Right? You can go ahead, Juliet or Tunde, whatever his name is. In a day, there are 24 hours. If you spend 8 hours at work, I didn't tamper with your 8 hours, your working hours, 8 hours. You spend 8 hours sleeping. That means you slept for 8 hours, you worked for 8 hours. These are the most basic things people do. You still have 8 hours left, Juliet, to chase your dreams. Will you agree with me, Juliet, that it is really not about having time, but about setting out time from your free time to build your dreams? Will you agree with me? Be a consultant. This should be a topic of conversation. Okay, how do you expand the conversation? Okay, Tunde or Juliet, whatever the person's name is. Now let's assume you work very hard. You work for 10 hours every day, right? And then you sleep 8 hours every day. The doctor said we should sleep 8 hours in a day. I know most people don't sleep 8 hours. I mean, if you're sleeping 8 hours, what are you doing? That's 1/3 of your life. If you sleep 8 hours a day, you sleep for 1/3 of your life, right? So you sleep 8 hours, you work for 10 hours, that is 18 hours. You still have what? 6 hours left to chase your dreams. Let's say you pray very hard. You pray for 2 hours every day, and you spend 2 hours on traffic every day. That leaves you with 2 hours to chase your dreams every day. So you see, Juliet, let's be sincere to ourselves. Let's tell ourselves the truth. The fact is this: it is about making the time and not having the time. We all have the time, but if you decide to make the time for your financial freedom, you can still access the good life, right? Next, you want to close him down. Juliet, if I could show you our 6 months plan to increasing your cash flow by 300% without interfering with your current job and with just 1 hour per day of your time, would you be interested in taking a look? It's a very powerful question. Would you? Remember that from a recording. If I could show you our 6 months plan to increasing your cash flow by 300% without interfering with your current job and with just 1 hour per day, would you be interested in taking a look? Would you? He says, yes, I'll be interested, I'll be interested. Now, what some people do is that the moment after they've said this, they are now asking the person to come and pay. No, that's not how it's done. You said, if I could show you. You said, if I do my own part, would you do your own part? Right? Some people, after saying this, something like this, they go straight up to ask people to pay. That's not right. So do your own part. If I could show you our 6 months plan to increase your cash flow by 300%, we don't want to put a figure because you don't know what the person's dream is. The man could be doing 1 million a month. You can't tell him by increasing by adding another 500,000. No, the man wants to increase his income. So 300% means he can move to 3 million naira without interfering with your current job. You make it very clear, without interfering with your current job, with your current business. And with just 1 hour per day of your time, would you be interested in taking a look? What does the guy say? Yes, I'll be interested. I'm interested in it. What do you do next? What do you do next? Very simple. You bring out our standard method of operation checklist, the SMO checklist. You show him how we can do this with him over the next 5 weeks. He sees that we are going to be the ones doing most of the things with him. In week 1, we're going to do this with you, this. In week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. At the end of 5 weeks, you would have gotten 5 people to connect to your business through this system. The moment any one of them connects, we are doing the same thing with him to generate his own 5. The moment that person connects, we're doing the same thing with him to generate his own 5. At the end of 6 months, look at what your business is going to look like. What are you going to show him next? Next, you're going to show him our 6 months cash flow plan. I will show you that at the end of this program. Our 6 months cash flow plan, you're going to show him. So he sees the SMO checklist, which is the activity. He sees they're not difficult to do, and then he sees the cash flow available to him within 6 months. He sees the cash flow available to him at 50% success. He sees the cash flow available to him at 20% success. Then it is at that point you can now invite him to get started by simply saying, it's a prospect. You said if I can show you a 6 months plan to increasing your cash flow, your income by 300% without interfering with your current job, and with just 1 hour of your time every day, you'll be interested in taking a second look. I have shown you this. This is how it works. Why don't you get started right away? Why don't you get started right away? Or you might ask him, what are the next steps we need to take towards getting you started right away? Immediately you say that, you bring the interest form, you are putting his name on the interest form, you are filling out the interest form, you are asking which of the packages will you get started right away. You take the package, you begin to, as you do what we call the assumptive close. You assume that this person is already in. Let him be the one to interrupt you and say, no, I'm not ready to get started right now. Then it means there's another objection you need to handle, right? So like I said, all you need to do is to become a consultant. From all I've said, you need to study it. And then with that, you learn how to handle the time objection. What people need to understand is that everybody is busy. Nobody has the time. But when they break down the 24 hours for them and they see it, and you are only asking for 1 hour daily, they can produce that 1 hour daily, right? Yes, not everybody is going to flow like this way. Not everybody is going to do it. Not everybody is going to, some people will claim they never have any time left. The truth is this, most people have the time for any other thing, but they are not going to put the time to run the business. They have the time for Telemundo and Z-World, the time for Arsenal and Manu, the time for Unkobi and Isiu. Your job is to extract 1 hour from their free time. So sit down with them and examine how their day looks like, their typical day looks like, and then extract 1 hour and get them to make the commitment to put in their activity in that 1 hour over the next 6 months and build their business. That is how you handle the I don't have time objection professionally. When somebody tells you I don't have money, what do you say? Remember what we said initially. You want to rephrase the objection back in a question. Mr. John, when you say you don't have the money, how do you mean? I don't have money, means I don't have money now. Means I don't have the money to join the business, blah, 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 whatever he says. You want to rephrase it, Mr. John, or Mr. Tunde, or Mr. Prospect. Mr. Prospect, what you are telling me now, I'm trying to get, get my head around it. You are saying you don't have the money to start up this business, which is proven to give you the good life that you are truly worthy of. Am I correct? Is that what you're saying? Today, you're not putting it like that, but then the truth is I don't have any money to start the business. You see me here, I don't have shishi, blah, 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 right? Whatever he says, the next step, Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? Say, yes, I want to do the business, but I don't have money to do the business. Mr. Prospect, do you really want to do this business? Or is your saying, I don't have money, a polite way of saying you're not interested? He says, I don't have the money now. That's the only thing. Just I don't have the money to do the business. Fine, that's fine. It's all right. No pressure, right? Then you move. Mr. Prospect, let's say I'm your brother and I drop unconscious. And the doctor tells you that if you don't produce 50,000 naira for my surgery within 24 hours, I will die. Mr. Prospect, will you let me die? Let the prospect answer. Says, no, I will not let you die, blah, 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 blah. Why won't you let me die? And because you're my brother now, say, no, that's not the correct answer. Why would you let me die? Say, because blood is thicker than water. No, that's not the correct answer. Why would you let me die? Whatever he says, you ask him. Okay, before you ask him that, you want to ask him, what will you do to save me? Right? When he tells you he will not let you die, ask him, what will you do to save me? He'll tell you, I'm going to run around, I'm going to borrow, I'm going to do this to raise the money. Say, great. So why would you let me die? Because you're my brother, because of this? I tell them that's not the correct answer. The correct answer is urgency. Because the situation is urgent. If the doctor has told you that within 6 years, I will die in 6 years' time, if I don't do the surgery in 6 years, will you be in a hurry to look for 50,000 naira now? The answer is no, you won't be in a hurry because you have the time. But now you have been given 24 hours, it means you don't have the time. You are going to move heaven and earth to make sure I survive, right? The watchword there is what? Urgency. The truth is this: most people don't declare a state of emergency on their bank account. They are casual with their bank account balance, so they're not bothered. They have been going through cash flow challenges for the last 5-10 years. They are used to their money problem. Their money problem is used to them. When you speak to your prospect, use the term most people. Don't finger him and say he's the one. You generalize it, most people, right? So if you declare a state of emergency on your bank account, just like you will do when you see that I will need 24 hours, you will need to raise the money in 24 hours, you will raise the money. If you can raise the money for my surgery, you can raise the money for the business. It is all about making a decision to get the money for the business. It's all about making a decision to get the money, right? Now, before you go to conclude, your job as a consultant is to help him see solutions, not just speak lofty English and you disappear. Help him see solutions. What are possible solutions that you can offer him? Mr. Prospect, now there are so many ways you can start the business, but don't start thinking about the bigger packages now that you don't have money. Let's look at the smallest package. The smallest package is 49,999 naira. Let's call it 50,000 naira. That's the smallest package. You can actually borrow 10,000 naira from 5 of your friends, making 50,000 naira. You can borrow 20,000 naira from 2 people, 10,000 naira from 1 person, making 50,000 naira. You can borrow 25,000 naira from 2 people, making 50,000 naira. I'm showing you options. You can look for 3 apps that borrow money that lend money to people, and you collect 20, 20, 20 from each of those apps, making 60,000 naira and get started. It's a business. Now, some people might say, I don't like to borrow money. I don't want to borrow money to blah, blah, blah. I don't like borrowing money. No. Poor men borrow money to spend on themselves. Rich men borrow money to do business. Right? You are borrowing the money to set up a cash flow stream that will pay you way more than 60,000 naira. So why not go in and collect the money and use that to start the business, put 50,000 naira into the business, put 10,000 naira airtime into your phone and make the calls, do your business like your life dependent on it. And guess what? You will be able to start the business and create the result that you truly desire. So, Mr. Prospect, if I could show you our 6 months plan to increase your cash flow by 300% over the next couple of months, would you be ready to get started? The guy says yes. When he says yes, what do? You bring out the SMO checklist, you show him our 6 months plan again. That's what you do with him. When you do this, you call him to pay right away. So, Mr. Prospect, based on all the information you've gathered, what is the next step towards getting you started right away? You bring out the interest form, you write his name on the interest form, you start filling everywhere, you ask him which of the packages you would like to start right away, you tick the package, you are assuming the close. You're not going to sit down there and you're waiting for him to tell you I want to do the business. You assume the close and you go for the kill, right? Next, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody. How do you handle it? Still follow the initial paths I mentioned. When you say I don't know anybody, how do you mean? Let him explain what he meant by I don't know anybody. Right? So, Mr. Prospect, what you are telling me right now is that you don't know anybody that we can show this most beautiful and amazing business that is designed to give you the dream life that you are truly worthy of. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Prospect? You said yes or no, whatever you want to say. Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? Yes, I want to do the business. Because you want to know whether you want to do the business so you're not wasting your time. Do you really want to do your business? Or is your saying you don't know anybody a polite way of saying you are not interested in the business? Because either way, we are okay with it. You say, no, I want to do the business, blah, 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 blah. What do you do next? Mr. Prospect, if I could show you that you really have more people to easily talk to than you realize, would you like to hear a little bit more? The guy says yes. What do? You ask him to bring his phone, right? Let's sit down together and write down the people you interact with in the course of your day. I think you'll be surprised, right? Who are the people in your offices? Let's write them down. Open up your phone. Let's write your phone contacts from A to Z, right? So you start writing down the phone contact with him. Your job is to help him see from a different light. Because most people are coming into this thing with a blocked mindset, with a fixed mindset. And fixed mindset don't get people anywhere. You want to help them open up their minds so that they are able to function as consultants, right? You are able to function as a consultant, open their mind to see possibilities. By the time you finish writing the people he knows, you go into his name list, you write, say, guess what? We've already done 50 people. These are 50 human beings you know. If you know 50, we can still get more, right? So once you do that, guess what? You can now begin to ask him to make a commitment. If I can show you how to never run out of people to talk to, would you be ready to get started right away? Because that's his own problem. His own problem is that he doesn't know anybody. If I can show you how to never run out of people, would you be ready to get started right away? The guy says yes. What do? You show him. How do you show him? Now we have written out 50 names from your phone, right? These are the people I think you know. Now, there are other ways. We can invite these people to come and take a look at this business. They will come. Some of them will join the business, some will not join the business. But for everyone who joins and everyone who is interested, we can get them to give us 50 names. How does that sound? They give us 50 names, that these 50 people now become your prospects. We are talking to the 50 people with you. Each of those ones coming can also generate 50 more from people they know. You are practically never going to run out of prospects. But guess what? We still have what we call the questionnaires. The questionnaires. They are simple questions, about 12 questions on a paper, on a piece of paper, that you can share to friends, you can share to people, you can share whatever you go to, even if you don't know them. People pick the questionnaires, they fill up the questionnaires, and you collect them, bring them back. And we're going to call them because they will indicate, their names are there, they will indicate. We're going to be asking them if they're open-minded to do a business or something. And people who are positive, who give us positive responses, guess what? We invite them. They come in. We show them the business. So you can see that even though you feel you don't know people, we have ways that you can never run out of prospects and build your business. So, Mr. Prospect, have you seen that it is possible that you can never run out of people to talk to, even though you don't know anybody right now? The guy says yes. So remember, you said that if I can show you how to never run out of people to talk to, you will be ready to get started right away. Guess what? I've done my own part. So what is the next step towards getting you started right away? Bring out the interest forms, start filling. Write his name, write whatever you want you to write, fill it up, assume they close. Right? These are objections that people get. You still get another objection called my hands are full. My hands are full. I can't free my hands, I can't do anything else, my hands are full. How do you handle the objections? Still follow those initial sequence I mentioned. When you say your hands are full, how do you mean? You get answers, Mr. Prospect? So what I understand from what you are telling me is that even though you know that this business has all it takes to give you the dream life, you cannot do it now because your hands are full. Is that what you're saying? You say that, the guy says yes, 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 or whatever it is he wants to say, right? Then you proceed. How would you like to free up your hands and still make twice what you make with full hands? How would you like that? How would you like to free up your hands and still make twice as much as what you're making currently with full hands? If I could show you our 6 months plan to increasing your cash flow by 300% by simply leveraging on other people, will you give it a try right away? You're leveraging on other people. It's okay, what is it all about? You tell him to bring out his name list. We can write out your name list of 50 people from your phone. These are people you don't know. We write out their names, 50, 100, 150, whatever it is. These are people you know, rather, right? We write out their names. And guess what? We can sit down and help you make some of the calls, right? And whenever we can put together, you can be able to put together free time for yourself. You can join us and make some calls for yourself. And we invite these people. These people are going to come in. Some will join the business, some will not join the business. Some of those who join the business are free, have free time for themselves. Some are going to do it full time, some are going to do it part time. But guess what? We are going to work with them. It is you leveraging on them. As we work with them, they do the business, you also make money. So you mustn't be the one sitting down doing the business full time. If we leverage with you and work on your name list, we can be able to get people who are going to come in, sign up into the system, and guess what's going to happen as they do their business, you continue to make money, right? So you've done that. You asked Mr. Prospect, you will agree with me that this is a functional solution that can help you run this business, access extra cash flow, and live the dream life, right? You will agree with me. I want you to have that phrase down somewhere. You will agree with me. You want to enforce agreement on people. You want to enforce those agreements on them. You will agree with me that this business is designed to give you a good life. You will agree with me that if you put in 2 hours into this business every day, over the next 6 months, you can begin to do an extra 500,000 monthly. You will agree with me that if you can make out some time for this business over the next 6 months, you can build leverage income for yourself. You will agree with me. Find a way of introducing that vocabulary, that phrase in your regular close down and follow-up strategies. You will agree with me. Write it down somewhere. You will agree with me. Write it down. There are many phrases you'll be hearing as I speak. Many of them are not documented, right? These are phrases that have come as a result of doing this business and creating an experience over the years. So you want to have them down and you want to use them in the course of your conversation. Find a place of fixing those languages, right? Those phrases, so that you can be able to produce more results for yourself. So I want you to pay attention. Pay attention. Because for many people, all you are doing is you are begging people to come and sign up, come and sign up, because come and sign up, come and sign up. You can't win by being desperate. When you are desperate, people will see right through it. So another one that we normally get, I want to speak with my spouse. How do you handle the objection? I want to speak with my spouse. You want to still follow the same sequence. I want to speak with my spouse. Mr. Prospect, when you say you want to speak with your spouse, how do you mean? How do you mean? Say, yes, I want to speak with my spouse. Normally, my family, we cannot take a decision unless we sit down together and we make a decision, blah, 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 blah. When it's done, you say, okay, that's fine. So what you are saying is this, because I need to understand you clearly, that even though you have seen that this business is designed to give you and your spouse the dream life that you require, you cannot make the decision to sign up into this business and get the dream life and begin to access the dream life unless you have the permission of your spouse, the permission of your husband, the permission of your wife. Am I correct? You guys say yes, 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 or no, 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 it's not like that. It's not as if I can't do it on my own, but whatever the person says, that's fine. Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? Do you want to do this? You need to say that because you want to, you want to be speaking to somebody who is interested in the business. You don't want to be speaking to a hater of network marketing. Haters will always hate. That's their job. Right? So, do you want to do this business? Yes, 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 I want to do the business. Do you really want to do this business? Or is your decision to speak with your spouse a polite way of saying you're not interested? Because either way, we're okay with it. Say, no, I want to do the business, but I need to speak with my spouse, blah, 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 blah. You continue. Mr. Prospect, can I ask you a hypothetical question? Right? And I need your sincere answer. Does this business make sense to you? Does this business make sense to you? You can say, yes, it makes a lot of sense, blah, 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 blah. You continue. If you receive a call to be the GM, the general manager of Dangote Group, and your salary is going to be 50 million naira monthly, and they need your answer there and then on the phone, will you ask to go home and to ask your spouse for permission to take the offer? Or will you take the offer first and share the good news with your spouse later? Remember, I said you have to find a way of asking questions that will induce pain or gain, right? These are the questions. If you receive a call to become the GM of Dangote Group, a salary of 50 million naira monthly, and they said they need your answer there and then on the phone, will you ask to go home first and ask your spouse for permission to take the offer? Or will you take the offer first and share the good news with your spouse later? What will you do? What will you do? Right? It is important to understand that they don't know how to run the business. Listen carefully. This is for you. This is not what you're telling them. It is important you understand that this is what you are telling them. It's important you understand that you don't know how to run the business. Speaking to your spouse or anyone on an issue you know absolutely nothing about can never work in your favor. Most times they will be the ones to talk you out of this beautiful opportunity. You want to make them understand this. So this is what we are going to do. Please write this phrase down. This is what we are going to do. I'm giving you some core phrases, right? This is what we are going to do. Now, even though he's the one that's going to do most of the stuff, your own stuff you're going to do there, it might be limited. Guess what? Use the phrase we. For you to win in this business, you must have to talk about we and not about I. You will invite your spouse. You are giving them an instruction now. You will invite your spouse to one of our meetings and let us do the talking on your behalf professionally. What day would you like to schedule for that? Schedule it there and then. What day would you like to schedule for that? Let us do the talking. Now, it is possible he will tell you that he cannot fix the time now. You want to speak with you will have to contact the spouse to fix the time, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. But let him know that it is not in his place to speak to the spouse. Remember that the prophet is not accepted in his own home, right? So we need to be the one to speak on your spouse, to your spouse on your behalf. But if you get home now and your spouse is still insistent they want to know about it, you can show them our video. Let them watch our presentation video. Play it for them. Let them watch, right? And then when they are done watching, you can call us to answer their questions. But at least don't be the one talking about the business, right? So if you need somebody if you meet somebody who wants to speak to your spouse first, guess what? You cannot be asking the person, I want to show you this, if I can show you this, you do this, can show you this, you no. That is a challenge. That is the objection. Handle it. Handle it. And handling it means you should be the one to show the prospect, the spouse of this prospect, the opportunity. Right? I can't convince anybody. I can't convince people. We meet this all the time. I don't have to convince anybody. I can't convince people. How do you handle the I can't convince people objection? Now, we might call these things objections, but some of them are really concerns. Right? You can call them objections, you can call them concerns. They are concerns that people really and truly have. Even though for some people, it does not exist. But these are concerns that you can address. I can't convince people. And when somebody tells me I can't convince people, they are talking, they are bothered, they are worried, they is bothered on fear. They are afraid. So what do you do? How do you handle the I can't convince people objection? Again, Mr. Prospect, when you say you can't convince people, how do you mean? How do you mean? I can't convince people. I don't know how to talk to people. If you put me in front of 3 people now, just pass out, blah, 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 blah. That's fine. Mr. Prospect, if I understand what you're saying clearly, you are saying that even though you know that this business is capable of giving you the dream life that you truly desire, you feel you can't do this business because you can't convince people. Am I correct? You say, yes, blah, they can't convince people. How do? You move to the next phase. Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? Say, yes, I want to do the business, but I don't know, just I can't convince people. Do you really want to do this business, or is saying that you can't convince people a polite way of saying you're not interested? Because that way we're okay with it. No, I want to do it, but I can't convince people. How do you proceed, Mr. Prospect? I'm glad you had that excuse, because I had the same excuse and I understand how you feel. Now, even if you don't have the same excuse, you can say, I know people who had the same excuses and I understand how they felt, right? I also felt the same way, but I later found out that we are not in this business to convince people or to convince anyone, but to show people a life-changing opportunity. Some will take it, some will not take it, but the few that do take it make a lot of money, right? Mr. Prospect, if I could show you our 6 months plan to increase your cash flow by 300% by simply inspiring people into action, will you give it a try right away? Simply inspiring people into action. Will you give it a try right away? You say yes. What do? You bring out the SMO checklist and you show him the SMO checklist and you make it very clear to him so that he sees that he is not the one doing most of the talking. He sees that we have ways of talking for you, right? And he's able to get started right away. And some of those people he'll be recruiting are people who can convince other people. When you're done, you show them, does this address your challenge reasonably? The guy says, yes, it does. You know, because we're going to do it, we'll do it with you. Hold your hands all the way. He says, yes, it does. It's great. I've done my own part. You said if I can show you how to increase your cash flow by 200%, you were ready to get started right away, right? So what is the next step you will need to take towards getting started right away? You bring the interest form, you are filling it out, you put his name, you put everything, you assume the close. I can't convince people. That is how you handle the objection. I can't convince people, right? Next, I can't market the products. I cannot market the product. I'm very busy, can't start carrying things on my head, going around trying to sell products all over the place. It's a prospect. When you say you can't market the products, how do you mean? I need to understand. How do you mean? I can't go and start selling things, blah, 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 blah. So you say, Mr. Prospect, what you are trying to tell me now is this. If I understand you clearly, that you have seen that this business has all it takes to give you the dream life, the good life that you are truly worthy of. But you cannot do the business because you cannot market the product. You cannot sell the product. Is that what you're actually saying? So yes, that's what I'm saying. Great. Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? Yes, I want to do the business, but I cannot convince people, blah, 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 blah. I understand you clearly. Do you really want to do the business? Or is your saying you cannot convince people a polite way of saying you're not interested? If he says, no, I want to do it, but just I cannot convince people, I cannot market the product, blah, blah, blah. What do? It's a prospect. Our business is about coaching and inspiring our team. Would you have any problem inspiring others if it were to directly benefit you financially? Would you have a problem inspiring people if it can benefit you financially? If I can show you a 6-month plan to 7 figures per month without selling anything, will you be willing to give it a try right away? 7 figures per month, or to increase your cash flow by 300%. Will you be willing to give it a try? I can show you our 6-month plan, and the plan does not involve you selling anything, selling any product, right? Our business is not about trading. We're not here to sell products. What we're doing here is building a network of users of the company products, and the company compensates us as the number of users of their product increase in our organization. If I can show you how we do that over the next 6 months, and you build a 7-figure income every month without selling to anybody, will you be ready to give it a try? The guy says, yes, I'll be interested. What do? Bring out the SMO checklist and let him see that there is no place on the SMO checklist where you are told to sell. Let him see the activities we're going to do and then show him the 6-month cash flow plan. And based on that, you call him to get started, right? So you've seen all I've said. You've gathered all the information you need to gather on how within the next 6 months you can be doing 7 figures without selling anything. So what is the next step towards getting you started right away? You bring the interest form, you are filling his name, you are putting the amount you want to start with, you are doing everything. You are assuming the clues, right? That is how you handle I can't market the product. Another objection, very popular, I will join at the end of the month. Guys, the masterclass is 2 hours. That is why it's called the masterclass. Some people are running away because it is past 9. It gets to 10 o'clock, right? The masterclass is not for newbies. It's for people who are ready to build their business, take their business to the next level. It's a very technical session. So if you are here, be here. If you're here, be here. Stop anticipating I will be finishing in the next 2 minutes or 3 minutes. No, we are finishing by 10 a.m. I will join at the end of the month. How do you handle the objection? I will join at the end of the month. Mr. Prospect, when you say you will join at the end of the month, how do you mean? Yes, now that's the time I'll be ready to get started, blah, 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 blah. What do you do next? Mr. Prospect, if I understand what you're trying to say, what you're telling me right now is that even though you know that this business has all it takes to give you the good life from now on, as we begin to run the system over the next 30 days, that you want to wait until the end of the month to engage in the business. Is that correct? The guy says yes. What do you do next, Mr. Prospect? Do you want to do this business? He says, yes, I want to do the business. Do you really want to do this business, or is you're deciding to join at the end of the month, a polite way of saying you're not interested? He says, no, I want to do the business. It's just that I will be ready at the end of the month. How do you proceed? Of course, this one I typed it in. It takes just 15 minutes or less to get you signed up in this business. Why would you want to procrastinate to the end of the month when you should be picking your payments by then? Why would you want to wait? Why would you want to start making money by the end of the month when you can start making your money from now? Why do you want to procrastinate or move your eventual success to the end of the month when you can set it up today? Why would you want to do that? Right? I'm sure the guy will now say, because I don't have the money, then you know that his money, the money objection. You want to go back and handle the money objection. But if he doesn't say that, you continue. Why exactly do you want to delay the start of your success in this business till the end of the month? Why would we have to delay? Let him speak. Right? Let him speak. So, whatever he's saying, the fact is he's not seeing urgency. You want to use the urgency script on him. You want to let him know. Use the urgency script. Make him want to start immediately. Most times, the reason why they want to get to the end of the month is because of the money. Right? Or they say they want to clear their schedule. That means their hands are full, or whatever it is. So you see, usually I will join at the end of the month is not the objection. There are things that attend to it that's making them want to join at the end of the month. So you want to know exactly why they want to delay to the end of the month. When you know that, you know the main objection, and you can now handle the main objection. I'm not the outgoing type. Some will tell you, some of those who know this thing will tell you that they are sanguine, their temperament, their whatever the temperament is. You allocate temperament on yourself, right? That's crap. Anybody can change. Anybody can be who they want to be. Anybody can decide to change the day they want to change. You look at it, you know you're not the outgoing type. You decide I want to be the outgoing type, you can change. If you're the outgoing type, you want to be the in-staying type, you can change. You can decide what you want. You're a human being. Brian Tracy said, if you don't like where you are, change it. You're not a tree. Human beings are the only group of people that can decide to change where they want to stay and make it happen. Human beings stay in space. Human beings live underwater today. You can choose where you want to stay. It's all up to you. So I'm not the outgoing type. I understand how you feel. I felt the same way too. But do you know what? I found out that I didn't need the entire world to make a success of this business. I don't need the entire world to make a success of this business. You want to start the proper way, right? You want to start by saying, Mr. Prospect, when you say I'm not the outgoing type, how do you mean? How do you mean? He talks about it. He said what it means. Mr. Prospect, if I understand what you're saying clearly, what you're telling me is that even though you know that this business has all it takes to give you the dream life, you've decided not to do the business because you feel you are not the outgoing type. Am I correct? Says, yes, I'm not the outgoing type, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I understand how you feel, really. I felt the same way too. But do you know what I found? I found out that I didn't need the entire world to make a success of this business. I found out I only needed 2 people running the business to make the business a success. I realized that I have hundreds of people in my phone contacts, even if I'm not the outgoing type like you. I'm not outgoing type, but I have hundreds of people in my phone contacts. Right, Mr. Prospect? If I could show you our 6 months plan, that requires leveraging on just 2 people to increasing your cash flow by 300% over the next 6 months to 12 months, would you give it a try and get started right away? Guy says yes. What do? You show him. Tell him, okay, you know what? From the contacts you have on your phone, let's bring those numbers out. We write those numbers out. We show them, we put them through the SMO checklist. You show him the SMO checklist. He sees the activities in the SMO checklist. We do it to them in 5 months, or in 5 weeks. 2 people will definitely sign up from them. And guess what? From 5 people will definitely sign up, rather, not 2. And from there, we work with them. And 5 more will sign up under each of them over the next couple of months. And then you show him the 6 months plan of how his income can graduate in 6 months. I told you I'll show you that at the end, right? And guess what? This guy is ready to get started, because now he knows that he doesn't need to be out there hanging around people to make a success of his business. Now, the next one, I want to think about it. Very common too. I want to think about it. This has 2 versions I'm going to give to you, right? How you handle the I want to think about it challenge. I'm going to give you objection. I'm going to give you 2 versions, right? Now, this is one of the extremely common network marketing objections you will face. And it can occur after you've rendered your best presentation. You can handle this objection by asking if they still have questions about cloudy issues that they need trashing. Because when someone tells you how you want to think about it, you might be having some things that you need to clear. So ask them, do you have some cloudy issues? Encourage them to ask questions. Perhaps your potential business colleagues need more information to help you figure out if this is the right opportunity for them, right? So you need to help him, probe him, so you can give him more information. This is how you become a consultant when a prospect says, I want to think about it. You respond in the nicest possible way. When somebody says, I want to think about it, respond in the nicest possible way, Mr. Prospect. When someone tells me they want to think about it, it means one of 2 things. They are not interested, number 1. Number 2, they're interested, but not sure. Which one is it for you? Mr. Prospect, from our collective experience, we've observed that when people say that they're not interested, they want to think about it, it means one of 2 things. It means they are not interested, or they're interested, but not sure. Which one is it for you? If they're not interested, you simply pick up a day to call them 6 months later and write that in your diary. They're most likely, but the thing is that if they say they're not interested, you don't start pushing them hard. So that's fine, that's all right. I respect your decision, I respect your opinion, right? Let's keep in touch, let's keep talking. You put down their name for a 6 months appointment. They most likely will tell you they're interested, but not sure. When they tell you they're interested, but not sure, you proceed as follows. Mr. Prospect, kindly permit me to tap from our collective experience in this business. When someone tells me I am interested, but not sure, they are not sure for one of 3 reasons. I need you to understand these things and to use them. They are not sure for one of 3 reasons. 1, the business is not a fit for them. 2, the functionality of the business is not there. And 3, the problem is finance. These are the 3 reasons for which people say they're interested, but not sure. Now, you're not asking him which one is it for you. If you proceed as follows, Mr. Prospect, let's take a look at the first one, right? Let's take a look at the first one. We have lots of successful people like doctors, lawyers, military officers, successful people running this business for the passive income it provides them and their families, the passive income. That means they are able to make money when they are sleeping, when they're on vacation, when they're not working. Make money that comes to them when they're not actively working. Does this business possess what it takes to be a fit for you? Does it meet your cash flow expectation? Being able to make money from the efforts of other people. Does it meet your expectation? You keep quiet, right? You need to explain that, because when we talk about this, people need to understand clearly what it means to be a fit for them, right? Do you understand what it means to be a fit for them? So you want to hammer on the fact that it provides passive income for them and their families, even when they are not there. Does it possess what it takes to be a fit for you? Does it meet your expectations? Right? If they say no, it doesn't meet the expectation, blah, 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 you might want to now go back and explain to them properly what the business is all about. Ask them, what is it about the business that does not meet your expectation? What are the challenges you see in it? Let them tell you, because it means something was not clear. But if they tell you it does, he may most probably say it does, in which case you proceed as follows. Mr. Prospect, I am happy this business is a fit for you. As for the second part, we can go on and on to tell you about the lives that have been changed in this industry. The internet is filled with success stories about network marketing industry. As of today, the network marketing industry is a whopping $200 billion industry. Do you see this industry as a viable machinery with the functionalities to help you make extra cash flow every month? You want to read this, understand it clearly. Now you are selling the industry, right? You want to include the fact that people like Donald Trump, what's his name? This one, the greatest investor the world has ever seen. What's the guy's name again? So you want to get big names in the world who are into this, right? And sell the industry, sell the La Buena Vida, sell the success stories. It's there in the internet. Everybody's talking about it. Do you see this industry as a viable business machinery with the functionalities to help you make extra cash flow every month? The guy says, yes, it does. Most likely, you proceed as follows. Mr. Prospect, if it is not fit, if it's not fit that is the problem, if it is not the functionality that is the problem, then the problem, Mr. Prospect, is finance. So what that tells me is that the reason why you want to think about it is because you don't have the function, the finance right away to get started in this business. So that tells you that what you need to handle is the finance, is the money objection. Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? He says, yes, you want to do the business. We proceed. Mr. Prospect, do you really want to do this business, or is your decision to think about it a polite way of saying you're not interested? Hey, I want to do the business, but just I needed to think about it, blah, 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 blah. If it says yes, you proceed. This is where you use the urgency scripts to increase the urgency of the prospect making a joining decision on the spot. You can also show him how he can leverage by distributing the sign-up cost across many people, because right now you're handling the money objection. So you use the urgency script, you tell him about it from your child, I collapsed, you got me to the hospital, blah, 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 and all those stuff, right? And you can also show him how he can leverage by distributing the sign-up cost. Get 10,000 from 5 people, 25,000 from 2 people, how he can use apps and get money to sign up, how he can, whatever you need to tell him to do. And arrive at something with him before he goes. Arrive at something with him, because you are making him take a stand. Don't just tell him you can take an app, blah, 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 and then you can get money from an app and then you stop. No. What app is he going to get the money from? You want to know 3 apps at least. What I might recommend some apps later on. I'm asking people who use it a lot, right? You might want to know 3 to 5 apps that won't embarrass, that don't embarrass people, that will be able to allow you hold that money for up to 3 months or thereabout, right? And you might have those apps, and then you can recommend to them. You can try this app, try this app, try this app, you know, and see what you can do with that. Your job is to help them make a decision, help them solve their problem. That's why you're the consultant, not leaving it vague, getting them to a point where you know, okay, what I need to do is this to get this result. I need to go to these 3 apps so that I can get this money. I can borrow 10,000 from 5 people and I can get the money, and you arrive at a deadline for them, with them. right? To get started. So this is what you're going to do. So you're going to do this. If you can able to get this money together and get started in the next 3 days, I can recommend you for a mastermind slot. That's version 1. I want to think about it. What is version 2? I want to think about it. How do you handle this objection? I want to think about it. So I'm giving you 2 options you can use. I want to think about it. Remember, you're a consultant. So reply in the nicest possible way when someone says, I want to think about it. Mr. Prospect, it makes a lot of sense to say you want to think about it. How long will you typically need to think about this challenge? How long will you need to think about this challenge? Let me give you a time. Now, no pressure, nothing. Whatever figure he gives you, double it. If he gives you a week, double it to 2 weeks. If he gives you a month, double it to 2 months, right? So whatever figure he gives you, just double it, no pressure, right? Just double it. And then you say the following, Mr. Prospect, you said you needed a week to think about it. I think you must think about it because it is that important. I think you have to think about it because it is that important. Make it known, make it known. This is what we are going to do. I told you to write that phrase. This is what we're going to do. I will give you 2 weeks so we can be sure you cross the T's and dot the I's. Don't feel pressure at all. I'm going to give you 2 weeks so you can just think about it very well, dot the T's and cross the I's. No matter how long it takes you to think about it, you must arrive at the answers to these 3 questions to make a decision. Make him understand that, Mr. Prospect. Just remember that no matter how long it takes you to think about it, you must arrive at the answer to these 3 questions to make a decision. Question number 1, do I like this business? Question number 2, can I afford to start up this business? Question number 3, should I go ahead to start this business right away? Right? So you see, Mr. Prospect, you can take as long or as short as you like, but be sure to arrive at the answers to these 3 questions because these are the process that you have to go through when you think about it, if you think about it. So you pause. Pause for about 5 seconds. If the person wants to talk, let him talk. But at any time, pause for about 5 seconds before you talk. Let there be a 5 seconds break before you say whatever you want to say. So whatever the person wants to say, let him say. But you pause for 5 seconds before you say the following. By the way, Mr. Prospect, can I ask you a couple of questions? I say yes. Do you like this business? Do you like it? Do you like the business? You're asking the question. That you're asking the question now, the number 1 question, right? Do you like the business? If they like the business, you move to the next step. If they don't like it, you find out what they don't like about it and handle that challenge. So if they like it, you proceed as follows. Mr. Prospect, you alone being the sole judge, no pressure. Can you afford to start this business right away? Can you afford to start this business? Not right away. Can you afford to start this business? You alone being the sole judge. You know your bank account, you know your alert, you know everything. Can you afford to start this business? You ask the question, you let him speak. Right? Next, if they say no, it means their problem is finance. So you handle the money objection. Are you seeing that a lot of problems are interlooped? So when you are handling a particular objection, you need to be open to understand that probably that is not the main problem they have. And then you continue. If they say yes, it means they have the money to sign up. So you automatically move into assumptive sale, into assumptive close. You don't ask them if they can start right now. You simply ask them which of the packages they would like to pay for right away. Right? So when they tell you have the money, what do? You bring out the interest form. You say, what name can I write? What's the spelling of your name? You put down the corresponding of their name. Which of those packages are you ready to pay for right away to get started? Right? As you are asking them the package they would like to pay for, you are writing out the account number for them. Write the account number for them so that you can do their transfer and filling out the interest form. You are assuming they are starting right away. That's assumptive sale. Because they've said they like the business. They've said they have the money to start the business, right? So you're not asking them if they're going to do it now, although you told them that that's the question they need to answer for them in their own heads. By saying they can do it now, they've answered in their own heads. You are giving them, you are writing the information for them, and you are getting them started right away. If any other objection comes up, handle it the appropriate way. That is a second way you can handle the I want to think about it objection. Right? Next, how much money are you making? How much money are you making? This is an objection that usually comes up, and for people who have not made money in the business, this can be a very terrible objection for them, right? But for people who are making money in the business, it's not a big deal, right? If you tell them how much you're making, it's not a big deal. But then you don't want people to join because you're telling them how much you're making. You want them to join because of what they are capable of making. Right? So how do you handle that? Now you still have to go through all the processes. Right? Mr. Prospect? When you say, how much do I make in this business? How do you mean? Say, I want to know the figure you're making and blah, 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 blah. What do you do next? Mr. Prospect? What you are trying, if I understand what you are saying that even though you know that this business has all it takes to give you the dream life, the good life that you are truly interested in having and you truly deserve, the reason you cannot start this business, or the reason you are reluctant to start the business, is because you want to know how much I am making as a person. Am I correct? It's not that, it's just that I want to know whether it's a viable business, how much you're making, blah, 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 blah. How do you proceed? See, Mr. Prospect, it's not about how much I am making. It's about how much money you are capable of earning. This is the best thing in this line of work. You determine your pay. Simple. If I could show you a 6 months plan to increase your cash flow by 300%, will you be willing to give it a try right away? Will you be willing to give it a try right away? Say, but I need to know how much you're making, blah, 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 blah. You need to make him understand. Mr. Prosper, you see, the fact is this. How much I make right now, if I tell you how much I make right now, it is not going to be a factor to determining whether you can be successful in this business or not. It's not going to be a factor. The factor that will determine how much you can make in the business is more of the work ethic you're going to bring to it. I can be making 10,000 naira. I can be making 1 million naira. All that does not matter because you are looking at how much I make, and you want to use that to extrapolate your own success in this business, which does not make sense in any way, right? You can come in and make way more than I do. You can come in and make way less than I do. It's all about your work ethics, right? So it's not about how much money I'm making, but it's about what you're capable of making, what you're capable of earning. And the best part is that it determines your line of pay. You determine your how much you earn. You determine your pay. So if I could show you our 6 months plan to increasing your cash flow by 300%, will you be ready to get started right away? If you say, no, I'm not going to start the business unless you show me how much you're earning, blah, 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 blah. Mr. Prophet, do you want to do this business? He says, yes, I want to do the business. Do you really want to do the business, or is you're deciding not to do the business? I mean, you're deciding, is your insisting I must tell you how much I am making before you start the business a polite way of saying you're not interested? You know, I want to know how much you're making, blah, 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 blah. Mr. Prophet, can I just make it very, very clear to you? No matter how much I'm pressured, I won't tell you how much I am making, right? Because it's not about me, it's all about you. If you don't see yourself as being worthy, as being capable of using this very simple system and building this business successfully over the next 6 months, then how much I make is irrelevant, because it is you selling yourself short from the beginning, right? So unfortunately, I won't be sharing with you exactly how much I make. It's all about how much you are ready to make, right? So it's all about you. So what you want to do is to, if he's insisting, is to put the ball back in his court and let him know that, do you consider yourself incapable of making a success of this business over the next 6 months by simply following this system, right? So you're telling him how much you're making is not going to help him sign up in any way, especially for new people. Because the moment they see that you've just started, you've not made any money, they're going to draw your conclusion. Let me say something. It is better to say a little than to say so much, right? When you say a little, people are left to go figure things out for themselves. When you say a lot, guess what? You have told them so much, and they will prejudge, and they would not join your business, right? Next objection. Next objection. I don't want to bug my family and friends. There are people, they don't want to disturb anybody. They don't want to disturb anybody, but they want to make money, right? It's a prospect. When you say you don't want to bug your family and friends, how do you mean? How do you mean? I don't like disturbing people. I like being on my own. I don't like pressuring people. It's a prospect. If I understand what you're trying to say, what you're trying to say is that even though you've realized that you've gathered enough information that tells you that this business possesses all it takes to give you the dream life that you so truly desire for yourself and for your family, you don't want to do this business because you don't want to bug your family and friends. Am I correct? The guy says, yes, I don't want to bug my family and friends. That's all right, Mr. Prospect. If I could show you a way to help them live better lives, would you like to hear a little bit more? Because I see you're so much interested in your family and friends. If I could show you a way to help your family and friends to live a better life, would you like to hear a little bit more? Yes, is yes. If I could show you a way my senior colleagues built a very massive business without bugging family and friends, would you get started immediately if it makes sense to you? Another way you can ask the question. If I could show you a way, especially for those who are new in the business, my senior colleagues built a very massive business without bugging family and friends, would you be ready to get started, right? If it makes sense to you. That's the question. Yes, 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 yes. So what do? You want to show him, right, how he can make a name list and we can call them on his behalf. If he doesn't want to do that, you want to show him how he can share questionnaires and we can use the questionnaires to show people the business, right? And those people are not his family, they're not his friends, they're people he does not know. You want to show him that. You want to show him how he can run Facebook adverts, Instagram adverts, and have people he does not know show up and sign up into his business. You want to show him that. Once you have shown him that, what do you do next? Mr. Prospect, let me even go ahead and show you our 6 months plan to complete financial freedom. Guess what you do? Show him the SMO checklist, you show him our 6 months plan, and you ask him, why don't you get started right away? Bring the paper, this interest form, you start filling it up, write his name, give him the account number. So make your transfer to this account right away so we can plug you in. I recommend you for the mastermind slot. Let's get you started right away. How will you want to make your payment? Do you want to make a payment using POS? Do you want to make a payment using a transfer? Do you want to make a payment using Quick Teller? How will you want to make your payment? Show him. Right? Next, I tried it and it didn't work. I tried it and it didn't work. Another objection. I'm giving you the most common objections you find. I tried it and it didn't work. How do you handle that objection, Mr. Prospect? When you say I tried it and it didn't work, how do you mean? How do you mean? Please, the people who are supposed to go for the induction, the Kingsman induction, please proceed to join the Kingsman induction. You can leave now and join the induction. That's those who have been inducted today into the Active Partners Induction Program, right? You can leave now and join. For the rest of us, focus. I tried it and it didn't work. How do you handle the objection? I tried it and it didn't work. Mr. Prospect, When you say you tried it and it didn't work, how do you mean? I tried a business, I tried something like this before, blah, 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 it didn't work. You proceed, Mr. Prospect. What you're trying to tell me is that even though you know that this business can give you what you want, this system we present to you can give you the dream life, right? The reason you don't want to do the business is because you have tried something like this in the past and it didn't work. Am I correct? Yes, 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 yes. What do you do next? Mr. Prospect, tell me your story. Tell me about it. Make sure you get details on how they ran the business and then show them how they weren't set up with the right skills or expectations. Network marketing works if you work network marketing. Network marketing does not work itself, it works if you work it. So let them tell you their story. And then after telling their story, you want to make them understand that the reason it did not work was simply because they were not properly set up. They didn't have the skills, they didn't have the system, they didn't have the tools to make it work. So what do you do next? Our team is renowned for your skill development, for our skill development strategies, right? Would you be willing to try it again with proper training from our leaders, right? Our team is renowned for our skill development strategies. Would you be willing to try it again with proper training from our leaders? You want to say that? Would you be willing to give it in again with proper training? Because now you have made him know that the reason he didn't succeed was because he lacked the training, he lacked the skills. So will you be willing to do it again, right? He says, okay, no problem, or whatever he says. If I can show you a 6-month plan that will give you the skill set you need, the strategy and the system to create a success from this business, will you be ready to get started right away? The guy says yes. What do? You bring out SMO checklist and let him see the trainings involved in there. Specify on the training, the skill development he's going to get, right? Specify on the tools. Show him how we're going to do this with him over the period of time. And then show him the 6 months expected cash flow. And guess what? This guy is going to join your business. I already have a good job. Another objection that you might face. Mr. Prospect, when you say you already have a good job, how do you mean? I have a good job, he's paying me well, blah, 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 blah. What do you do next, Mr. Prospect? If I understand what you're saying exactly, what you are telling me is that even though you know that this business has all it takes to give you the dream life, give you that extra cash flow that you can add to whatever you're getting from your good job and begin to access better lifestyle for yourself, you will not join this business because you believe you already have a good job. Am I correct? I say, you might not put it like that, but those that have a good job, blah, 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 blah. What do you do next? Mr. Prospect, that is good to know. Would you really, truly say, you and everyone in your family fared well during the lockdown? Would you really say that you and everybody in your family fared well during the COVID-19 lockdown? The guy will tell you no, blah, 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 blah. The reason we're doing this is because we want him to understand the proper place of a job, right? You will agree with me that it is a wise decision. You will agree with me. You see what I use that phrase again. You will agree with me. It is a wise decision to set up an alternative cash flow source that does not compete with your primary income source, which is your job. Because that would have helped you during the lockdown. Would you like to hear why professionals like doctors, lawyers, etc. leverage on network marketing part-time and create cash flow for years to come? Would you like to hear more why that happens? They'll say, yes, 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 he wants to do that. Now, doing that, you now want to make him understand the part of leverage income, the part of earning, what happens when you earn money from other people, right? You want to explain the cash flow quadrant, the ESB and I. You want to explain the cash flow quadrant. So he sees the position of the job where he exists, right? Even if it's not with you, you can schedule a WhatsApp call with him. Get a piece of, you can do a WhatsApp video call and get a paper and draw the cash flow quadrant and explain it to him. Let him see the position of a job. And let him see what he benefits by running his business part-time and how he can make money for years to come. And then you can also move in and do the normal, if I can show you a 6 months plan, blah, 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 we need to, will you be ready to get started? And guess what? He's going to get started, right? Next question. Only people at the top make the money. Only people at the top make the money. We get this objection all the time, right? This objection comes because people really don't know what network marketing is all about. So they say only people at the top make the money, right? So how do you handle that objection? Network marketing pays you what you are worth, right? And they can even pay you more than your upline. It pays you your value, it pays you your worth. If I could show you how everyone has an equal chance to build their organization to the very top, would you like to hear a little bit more about it? If he says yes, show him the comp plan. Show him the comp plan. Everybody has the opportunity to build their business to whatever level they want to build it to. It's not about the upline. It's not about who joined you first. It's about the network of producers you create in your organization. You also want to make him understand how the network marketing structure works, how people sign up, and you are compensated when people sign up. You want to make him understand that network marketing pays you from the proceeds of the profit of the company, from the profit of the company. When somebody buys product from the company by joining the company makes a profit. They share that profit into two, 60%, 40%. The company keeps 40% for themselves and shares 60% using a compensation plan down the line of people who contributed in getting you into the business. So you're only being compensated, right? So the more people you are bringing into your organization, the more money you are making. So it doesn't matter when you join the business. What matters is how many people have been connected in your organization, and our team will work with you and help you connect people in your organization, help you as you connect people in your organization, right? So you can do that when you handle the objection, that objection. Then the next one you might want to handle is there is too much competition out there. The market is saturated, right? You make this objection too. So there are over 200 potential, because you do the normal stuff I mentioned initially, right? When you say there's too much competition out there, how do you mean? He explains to you. So you know that this business can create cash flow for you, but the reason you don't want to start this business is because you believe there's too much competition out there. Am I correct? The guy says yes. So good, guess what? There are over 200 million potential partners in Nigeria, and 99% of them are not doing the business. You are not doing the business. So from this conversation right now, it is obvious that the market is not saturated. There is almost no competition out there, as network marketing companies specialize in unique products branded for them alone, right? If I show you how competition means great opportunity and how this company is unique, would you like to get started with the business right away? Asking the question, would you like to get started right away? You make it know, in the whole of Africa and Asia, the number of active network marketers in all companies is about 3.5 million. Statistics proven. Direct Sales Association, online, it is there. 3.5 million people in Africa and the Middle East, rather, sorry, Africa and the Middle East. If you take 3.5 million people, the whole of them in Africa and the Middle East, and you put them into Nigeria, it's only going to be 3.5 people out of the over 200 million people in Nigeria. The market is not saturated. The market is not saturated. You just need to open up your mind to get to do the business and learn the skills. And you too will become a top earner in the system. Right? Does that address your objection? Next, I don't like to sell. I don't like to sell. That's fine. When you meet this objection, you want to start by telling people the same thing I've already said, right? When you say you don't like to sell, how do you mean? He explains to you, right? So, Mr. Prospect, even though you know that this business can give you the good life, the reason you don't want to join this business is because you feel you don't like to sell. The guy says yes. How do you proceed? Selling is something we do all the time already. All the time. You might ask him, well, you want to still ask him, Mr. Prospect, do you want to do this business? Yes, I want to do, but I don't like to sell. Mr. Prospect, do you really want to do this business? Or if you're saying you don't like to sell, a polite way of saying you're not interested. Say, no, I really want to do this business, but you know what? I don't like to sell. Selling is something you do all the time already. Show the prospect that we are selling all the time, right? We convince or sell the people we know every day in what we eat, how we spend our time, how we spend our money. Everything we're doing is selling. You sell to your children, you sell to your family, you sell. Your everyday life is selling, even though you're not collecting money, right? Show that there are two ways to sell. Show that there are two ways to sell. There is the annoying stereotypical selling that is pushy and annoying, and there's a friendly and warm approach to selling, all right? There's the annoying stereotypical selling that is pushy and annoying, and there's the friendly and warm approach to selling, right? All financially successful people in the world have learned to sell at one point in their career, right? If you don't sell, then you cannot complain about your current financial situation or your job. You will have to just accept the status quo. But if you want to make money and you have a better life, you must learn how to sell. Your prospect always duplicates their experience with you, right? So if you are hard selling and if you're the hard selling and a pushy one, then they will think they will have to do the same. So the key to successful prospecting is asking questions that leads your prospects to join. So basically what you want to do is to be asking them questions, and those questions are the things that will lead them to join, right? So you need to understand that selling is part of business. Selling is part of life. Like I said at the beginning, nothing happens until a sale is made. So if somebody tells you I don't like to sell, you make them understand that. Then you have to calm down and you let them know our business is not about buying and selling. Even though I've shown you all these things about selling, our business is not about buying and selling. We're here to buy the product, use the product, and connect people who will come buy, use the product. Simple. That's all we do. We buy, use, and connect. We don't buy, use, and sell. There's a buying and selling arrangement in every business. Yes, we know that. But in our business, the company, Mlm Global, does the selling while we do the buying. So our job is to raise a network of buyers who buy into the product by signing up, buy into the company by signing up, and who buy the product and use for themselves monthly. Use the C247, use the coffee, use the colleges, use whatever the product we have. And that is how we do the business. We don't go out on the streets selling the products. I'm not the network marketing type. Another objection you're going to face. I am not the network marketing type, right? So when you see another network marketing type, how do you mean? Exactly. When you say that, when you ask them that, how do you mean? Let them say it. When they're done, you want to rephrase it. So you've seen this system and you know that this system has what it takes to give you the life that you are worthy of. But you don't want to sign up because you feel you are not the network marketing type. Am I correct? The guy says yes. What do you do? Can you tell me a network marketing story? Let them tell you that story. They know something about network marketing. Most times they have not even done anything about network marketing. But even if they say they have, tell me your story, right? Would you truly say, this is the thing, would you truly say you gave this business enough time and effort to create success? Would you truly say you gave this business enough time and effort to create success? Let them see. So they say, yes, I did. You continue. If the richest man in this country gave his business the kind of attention you gave your MLM business, your network marketing business, would you say he would be successful? Would you say he will be successful? This is you being a consultant, because now they are blaming the industry instead of blaming themselves. They will tell you the truth. Would you say it is wise to say you don't like something if you have not given it attention? Would you say it's wise to say you don't like something if you've never tried doing it? Not tried doing it, you don't know how it is. Would you say it's wise to say that? If I could show you how to increase your cash flow by 300% over the next 6 months, will you be ready to give it a shot under mentorship? Will you be ready to try network marketing again under mentorship? You see, the thing is, a lot of people come in and they blame network marketing. You want to ask and see what they did. You want to see what they did. Would you truly say you did network marketing? Would you say you gave it attention? How many hours a day did you give to your business? Let them tell you. For how many days did you run the business before giving up? Let them tell you. Would you truly say if you spend so and so hours or so and so number of days or weeks and gave up, you are supposed to be successful in that venture? So when people come up with I don't like network marketing objection, what you want to do is to know what they did, know their level of activity, their attitude toward the business, and let them know that under mentorship, ask them if under mentorship, they are ready to work under mentorship to create the result that they require. Someone says, I don't know how to run this business. Excuse and an objection. If I could show you how to run this business under guidance of our team, would you like to know a little bit more? Guy says, yes. We proceed. We have an invitation-only system for beginners where we'll help you expose the business to your friends. You can be earning as much as 6 figures while you are still leveraging on the team. Our system guides you to your dream, right? What that means is that even though you don't know how to run the business, we are going to do the business with you as you learn the business. So if I can show you a 6-month plan to $1 million monthly income, would you be ready to get started right away? If I can show you a 6-month plan to increasing your cash flow by 300% over the next 6 months, would you be ready to get started right away? If it says yes, what do you do? SMO checklist and a 6-month cash flow plan. I don't like people. If someone says I don't like people, what do you do? When you say I don't like people, how do you mean? How do you mean when you say I don't like people? He explains to you. So, Mr. John, Mr. Prospect, even though you know this business has all it takes to give you a dream life, the reason you will not do this business is because you don't like people. Am I correct? The guy says yes. How do you proceed? I really understand how you feel. Many people in this industry felt the same way, but do you know what they found out? They realized that by simply inconveniencing themselves a little to tolerate other people, their monthly cash flow increased significantly. You know why? Because the money that will make you rich is not in your pocket, it is in the pockets of other people. So by the time you learn to inconvenience yourself a little, you can increase your cash flow significantly. So if I could show you a way of increasing your cash flow by 300% by simply inspiring few people over the next 6 months using our system, would you be ready to get started, to give it a try right away? Very simple. I'm taking time to explain all these things so you can pick them one by one and study them, learn how it works, and then use them as you grow your business. And then you learn to apply the invitation clause. I've given you how to handle all the objections, but this time around, this is the invitation clause. John, are there any more questions or objections you want addressed to enable you to get started right away? So you've handled these objections. So what you do next? He has told you don't have time, you don't have money, and you've handled all those stuff, right? What do you want to ask him next? John, are there any more questions or objections you want addressed to enable you to get started right away? Are there any more? The guy says, no, whatever he says. John, join us. If he says none, anything, if he has some, address them. If he doesn't, what do you do? John, join us in doing some amazing things here. Why don't you give it a try? Slide the form to him, bring out the form, start filling it, right? Why don't you give it a try right away? That is called the invitation clause. You're inviting him to give it a try. You can also say, John, now that we have sorted out all the questions you needed answers to help you get started, what is the next step forward towards getting you started right away? I'm showing you languages, words that you can use. Why don't you give it a try? What is the way forward towards getting you started right away? If they try to dance around the question or they try to outsmart you, let them speak. Don't doubt them. Don't belittle them. Don't argue with them. When they're done talking, you simply say, John, Anita, Tunde, Mr. Prospect, whatever the person's name is. The question I ask is quite simple enough and would enable me to determine your suitability for this business. Kindly don't circumvent the question, then ask your question again. When you ask somebody a question and they begin to dance around, you call them back to order. Let them speak. When they're done, Mr. Prospect, the question I asked was quite simple enough and will enable me to determine your suitability for this business. Kindly don't circumvent the question. Then you ask the question again. Always follow up with a tool, even if they say they will sign up the next day. Follow up with the tool. Try to protect them from Guptas. Who are the people who call Guptas? Gullible people talking rubbish. That people call Guptas. Gullible people talking rubbish. They'll meet them. Dream killers, naysayers. They'll meet them, right? So follow up with a tool. You can send them the video after they've seen the presentation. Send them the video. Let them watch our video again, right? They've seen the presentation. You've seen the video. And you want to close them down. Still send them the link to our presentation video so that they can watch it again at their own time. Even though you've gone through the presentation, I'm sending you a short video of 31 minutes, right? Look at the video. It's going to help you get more information you need. They've not signed up, but you want them to have that. And when they meet Gupta, God people talking rubbish, what do you do? They can send the Gupta the video. Let the Gupta watch the video. Let the people see what you have seen. Right? The sign up is not complete until they buy their product, until they pay. That's when it is complete. So the process must continue. If they don't want to do the business, ask for 2 referrals from them. Who do you know, right? Who do you know? Or do you know anyone that would like to make an extra 200,000 naira monthly? Who do you know that would like to make an extra 200,000 naira monthly? Right? Who do you know that would love to make an extra 200,000 naira monthly? You ask them, right? And you can also ask them to try the products. Ask them to try the product, try this 24/7, see what's going to happen to you by tomorrow. So I'll be rounding up by giving you 5 powerful words that you use in your follow-ups. And I've been using those 5 words all along, right? Number 1, what is the way forward? 5 words. What is the way forward towards getting you started? What are the next steps towards getting you started? These are the words you can use to get people to bring their money, right? What is the way forward towards getting you started? So you've handled all the objections, you've handled everything, you are filling the paper. What is the way forward towards getting you started right away? What are the next steps you will be taking towards getting started right away? We've handled your objections, we've seen it, I've handled the questions, you don't have any questions left. Mr. Prospect, what are the next steps you need to take towards getting started now? It's for me to pay now. You bring out your POS, you collect this payment, right? And then what is the 6 months plan? I've been talking about the 6 months plan, 6 months plan, 6 months plan. Number 1, SMO checklist. This is the SMO checklist. Everybody screenshot this. Screenshot your SMO checklist. This is your SMO checklist. Anybody you bring into this business must flow through this. Flow through this. You must have this. Everybody you bring in must go through all this. And then we'll sign and put the date they did the activity. Make sure you finish this within 5 weeks and you will see your business grow, right? So you will explain these things to people one by one. You know this. It's in the IPO. Go and watch it. And then this is a 6 months plan you are showing them, right? If you follow the SMO checklist, 5 people will join your business in month 1. 5 of them join, you make 14,000 naira, right? We're going to do the same thing with the 5 of them. In month 2, 5 will join under each of those 5, you make 70,000 naira. By month 3, 5 will join under each of the 5. You are now 25 people there, you make 350,000 naira. By month 4, 5 join each of the 25. Now you are doing 125 people, you make 1.7 million naira. In month 5, 5 join each of the 125 people, you have 625 people each, you're making 4.3 million naira. And by month 6, if 5 people join each of the 625 people following the system, you have 3,125 people in your team, you're making 21 million naira. Want to show them this? 6 months income projection. If we add up everything, you will have made 28 million naira in 6 months. If you just, even if you're successful at 50%, that is 14 million naira. At 20% success rate, that's 5.6 million naira, right? Does it make sense? Does it make sense that you start this business with 49,990, we work with you over the next 6 months and you're doing 5.6 million naira monthly? Does it make sense cumulatively? Yes, it does. Why don't you get started right away? You show them the 6 months plan, right? So you see, anybody who joins, you also want to make them know the 90 days game plan. Let's do this over the next 90 days. The idea is to recruit 20 people in the first 30 days and then duplicate 20 people recruited over the next 60 days. We duplicate the 20 people we have recruited over the next 20 days. So that means that if I recruit 20 people in 30 days, each of those persons I recruited, I will work with them to recruit 20 people over the next 60 days. In 90 days, I can build a very formidable business, right? So I will give you a bonus slide. 3 powerful questions to ask your new sign-up. 3 powerful questions you ask your new sign-up when they join your business, right? Ask them these 3 powerful questions. If you ask these 3 powerful questions after they have signed up, you can be sure to do something very fantastic. Number 1, would you like to make your money back in the next 4 weeks? Would you like to make your money back in the next 4 weeks? The person says yes, 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 yes. Number 2, would you religiously follow our system without excuses to make that happen? Will you religiously follow our system without excuses to make that happen? They will say yes, 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 yes. And final question, are you sure of what you're saying? They say yes. Powerful questions. These questions will help you focus and streamline your prospects. And if you ask them this question after they've signed up, you have set them up for success, right? You have set them up for success. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you handle the most common objections you meet in your network marketing business. If you study these objections, if you watch this video, study it over and over again, take the most common objections you find and study it, you can put together a most powerful and formidable business for yourself, right? Yes, this meeting took some time, about 2 hours, 30 minutes, but guess what? It is worth it. Because if you learn this skill set and use it, you are going to give yourself a most powerful and exceptional business result, right? Thank you so much, gentlemen and ladies, for being with us in this particular session of how to handle objections like a rock star. I look forward to seeing you at the top as together we begin to live the amazing life that we are truly worthy of. God bless you all.